Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be talking about O-level Edexcel orientation. I'm going to tell you all about the subject and how to prepare and understand everything about it. Alright, so I'm going to be talking about board exam papers and codes. I'm going to also talk about course schedule, classified and past papers. So let's start with board exam papers and codes. So there's two codes for Edexcel, and I'm going to give you my recommendation. I actually recommend the modular, and I'm going to tell you why. But there's two of them. There's the linear and there's the modular. So you have to check with your school which one is being offered. And here is the code for the linear for CH1, and here's the code for modular. It just has an X added to it for XCH1, and basically if you do the linear, you're going to be taking two papers, and they're called paper 1 and paper 2. If you take modular, you're going to also take two papers, but they're called unit 1 and unit 2. So let me first tell you about the grading scale. Historically, we've been used to A star, A, B, C, D, and so on in IGCSE. However, Edexcel is doing the numerical grade, which is actually much better than the numerical. So 9 is the highest grade, and that's my goal for all my students. All right, I do not accept anything less than 9, and then it's followed by 8, 7, 6, and so on. 1 is the lowest grade, and U just means ungraded. It just means you got a 0 or something. 4 is the standard pass. So 4 is just basically you passed the subject. However, again, we're not looking for 4. We're not looking for a strong pass or anything. We're ambitious for a grade 9. Now, remember that if you're taking the exam in June, then, or May-June session, then the registration opens in November, between November and January. In regards to the papers, so I'm going to describe the linear papers and the modular papers, and then I'm going to talk about why I recommend modular if you can register for the modular. If you cannot, totally fine. You guys will be fine. Do not worry. It really doesn't matter. They're identical. It's identical topics. There's no difference in the topics at all, but the way you take the exam is a little bit different. So paper 1 is usually in mid-May, and paper 2 is usually early June, and you have about 3 weeks in between. And each exam is just a mix of question styles. Some of them are multiple choice, which gives you 4 possible answers, and you choose one of them to be the correct one. There's short answers, there's a little bit of longer answers, something called open response questions, which usually is like several marks, like 5 marks or 6 marks. There's, of course, calculation questions. So it's a mix of questions. And of course, guys, do not worry about this at all. I will get you practicing from day 1. You will practice past papers from day 1, so do not worry about this at all. You should have the syllabus, so make sure you download the syllabus. Once you know if you're doing linear or modular, make sure you download the syllabus, or they call it specification, actually, not syllabus. And basically paper 1 is almost all the specific, almost all content, except for a few contents that are not there, like, you know, equilibrium, electrolysis. Certain things are not there, but you will be reviewing almost all the content to sit for paper 1. All right, it's a 2-hour long paper. It's 110 marks, and that's how it weighs, 61%, 61.1%. Paper 2 will examine you on all the content, everything. Okay, so not just things that were not included in paper 1, but actually all the content. And that's why I recommend modular, because in modular they kind of separate the content, okay, between unit 1 and unit 2. And so if at all possible, pick the modular. Paper 2 is a little shorter. It's only 1 hour and 15 minutes, and it's 70 marks with a percentage of 38.9%. When you take the total of the two papers, 110 and 70, it's going to be 180 marks total. All right. In regards to the modular, very similar, mid-May and early June, and there's 3 weeks in between. Very similar exam styles, question styles, multiple choice, short question, long question, calculation, very similar. The only difference is the topics that are included in unit 1, most of them are not included in unit 2, and the topics that are in unit 2, most of them are not included in unit 1. So the the topics are a bit separated. Now, there are topics that are in both Unit 1 and 2. And you should have basic understanding, of course, about chemistry. So they have the right to ask about basic things. But in general, so I'll give you an example. Electrolysis, for example, is only in Unit 2, but it's not in Unit 1. And I'll give you another example. The first part of the organic is in Unit 1, and the second part is in Unit 2. However, to be able to understand the second part of the organic, you need to understand the first part of the organic. So it is a little bit of an advantage, but you still need to have like a whole understanding of chemistry, because it really builds upon, everything is built upon the previous thing. Okay, but it's still, doing the modular exam is still a little bit of an advantage. And the reason is you have a whole 3 weeks to focus on certain topics. Okay, you're only focusing on, electrolysis, equilibrium, the harder part of organic, bonding, so it's a little bit of an advantage. I highly recommend you do both units in the same session. So for example, if you're doing a June session, do both units in that June session. Some schools will force you to do Unit 1 in a June session and then Unit 2 in the next June session. That's fine. If you have to do that, that's totally fine. I support you 100%. Okay. The other advantage of the modular, remember, I'm going to go back for a second here. This was 2 hours. This is an hour and a half. 2 hours is brutal. It is a torture. It is very long. I find it to be very long. I'm a person who do not have much patience. I mean, I get bored in 2 hours is a lot for me, especially when I was a student. I've got to develop my stamina and I became stronger as I grew up. But 2 hours is a bit long. Some students just cannot handle this. However, the modular is 1 hour and 40 minutes. Still long, but it's not 2 hours. Okay, so it's much better, and they're divided equally. So both of them are 1 hour and 40 minutes, and each of them is also is equal. Each of them is contributes 50%, 90 marks and 90 marks. Again, the total is 180. So either way, the total is 180. Now, in regards to grade boundaries, you will see here that it's really super easy to get a grade 9. As you can see here, these are just examples, guys. The grade boundaries will change every year, all right? It's not the same. Do not look at previous years and say, oh, I've got to get 147. And that's it. I'm not gonna get 148. Like, I'm not gonna score 140. I'm gonna exactly get score 147. Do not do that. All right. We really aim. My students usually get 160 out of 180. Okay. And I've had a student who got 173 out of 180. And I'm looking forward actually this year for maybe a couple of students who are possibly going to get a full mark or very close to full mark. So it is really easy to score very close to the 180 and well above the minimum requirement for the 9. But basically, as you can see, you can lose 40 marks and still get a 9. That is awesome. Thank you, Edexcel. All right. And you can even lose more. Look at that. Oh my God. Like, how many marks? 50 marks and you get an 8. 50 or 60 marks even. So that is encouraging. If you follow my plan, you will be well above these grade boundaries. Do not think about grade boundaries at all. Your focus should be to get the highest mark possible, to get as close to 180 out of 180 as possible. Okay, so if you get 170, I'm happy. If you get 160, I'm happy. Less than that, yeah, guys, please follow my plan. All right, so we talked about exam papers and codes. Let's talk about the course schedule. You should be getting a PDF document that's about 3 pages that looks kind of like this. And it has exactly what I teach on what date. And so please have this sheet handy. You should receive it by either me or one of my assistants. And then please print a couple of copies, have it on your desk. It should be very handy. Like, you should have this accessible to you at all times, because I want you to be focused. I want you to know what quiz you're going to be having and when. All right, so you will be having regular quizzes. As you can see, I just highlighted one of them just to uh, grab your attention that we have quizzes after each chapter. We also have cumulative quizzes, and so after each chapter you're going to have a quiz that covers everything in the past so that you don't forget the past topics. I will also give you definitions quiz. I'll give you 4 of them. So definitions quiz 1 is like a third of the definitions. Number 2 is another third. Number 3 is another third. And then definitions quiz number 4 is gonna, I have all the definitions for you. These are extremely easy questions, and I do not want you to lose any marks, right? We cannot afford losing marks on definitions, right? These are definitions, super easy. You cannot lose marks here. And that's why I emphasize it so much, because easy questions should be nailed down, right? You're allowed to lose some marks in difficult questions, but easy questions, nope, not acceptable. All right, also notice that we will be having live mock exams. So keep a note on those, because these mock exams are at a specific date, specific time. You're going to be joining Zoom, and one of my team members will be watching you. So definitely make sure you have the date. And that's why I said print this document and have it handy, so that you always know what's coming up, what due dates you have, and so on. Also, like towards the end of the course, I will be having assignments for you. You will see that if you are modular, then the assignments are going to be Unit 1 and Unit 2. But if you are doing the linear, you're going to have your assignments be paper 1 and paper 2. Okay, so just make sure you sign up for the correct course, because the assignments and the exams and the quizzes are slightly different. Now, the modular system was just created in 2025. All right, so before 2025 there was no modular, it was all linear. So what we did is we've got all those linear exams all the way until 2024, and what we got is we took those past papers and we divided them into Unit 1 and Unit 2. This way the modular students have a way to practice. Now, if you're a modular student, how can you possibly practice for a modular exam when there's no past papers that are modular, right? Or very few past papers, right? Because it only started in 2025. And so we've separated these past papers, and this way you can practice only on Unit 1 when you want to. For example, you're sitting for Unit 1 mid-May, you can only practice on Unit 1. And then when you sit for early June for Unit 2, you can practice only on Unit 2. So we've done that, we've separated them, and that's going to be extremely helpful for you. The other thing I want to talk about is classified. So classified means I got all those past papers and I've divided the past papers into topics. So for example, kinetic theory topic, I got all the questions about kinetic theory from past papers, and I compiled them, I put it in one document, and this way you can practice past papers from day 1. The first day I see your face in my course, you're gonna be practicing past papers. The only thing is you're not practicing the whole past paper, you're only practicing the lesson I taught you. All right, so this is an example on a certain lesson. For example, concentration of aqueous solutions. I got all the questions that are related to the concentration of aqueous solution. I put it in one document, and of course the document is not very long. And you're going to be practicing about that same topic after I teach you concentration of aqueous solutions. Okay, here's the other good news. I've recorded all classified questions from the very beginning of Edexcel 2012 until the most recent exam. Okay, not just that, every question on your homework has a QR code. If you scan the QR code, it takes you to exactly the timestamp to where I teach this particular question. All right, and so you're going to be taken to the website, you're going to be taken to your account on clickcourses.org, and you can watch the answer to this question. All right, so please take advantage of this. A way to watch all the classified videos is go to your courses, find your Edexcel course, go to files, click on files here on the left, and then click on this button that says classified videos. You will see all the classified videos. You look at this, 206 results, 206 files. It's 2 or 3 files for each lesson. And so that's why there's plenty. And so guys, as you can imagine, if you watch all of these, and they're pretty short, they are not long, I promise, like 30 minutes or something. But if you watch all of these, you're going to be an expert. And if you follow my plan, by mid-March, you will have solved all those past papers. You've just solved them bit by bit, lesson by lesson. So make sure you follow my plan. All right, so we talked about the classified and how much resources you have, and how that you can go to the website and watch all my recorded videos, and how that each question has a QR code. This way, if you get stuck on the question, you can just scan the QR code and go to it. Now, let's talk about past papers, because yes, you did classified, you solved the classified, which are basically past papers. However, you still need to practice on full past papers that have mix of topics, like all the topics together. That is really important, and you're going to start doing that mid-March. And so, for example, if you're doing the linear, when you go to your account, go to files, you're going to find paper 1 and paper 2. So just click on paper 1. It's going to filter out all the videos that are about paper 1, and then just click here on the play video, and you're going to be watching my recording of paper 1. So make sure you do that. Okay, it's an extremely helpful resource. You're going to do the same thing with paper 2. So once you're done with paper 1 and you want to practice paper 2, just go and click on paper 2. And I have the same exact thing for modular students. And as I said, we have separated out the unit 1 from unit 2, and we've also edited the videos to make sure that you guys have a specific video for paper 1. This way you can practice on unit 1 when you're ready for the mid-May exam, and that's unit 1. You just click it and you're going to get all the unit 1 exams. And then when you're ready for early June exam, you're going to click on this button that says unit 2, and then click on the play video. Definitely watch all the videos here. Okay, so this is me solving the exam, giving you tips. Even if you know the material well, it is still a really good review. And if you feel like you forgot everything, this is going to be extremely helpful. And I've had students who say this was a really lifesaver. They said it saved their lives, but I know it did not save lives, but it really saved your time. It saved your well-being. It's a really, really good resource. So definitely, please try to take advantage of it. And with that, we are done. I have covered board exam papers, your codes, linear versus modular course schedule, the importance of classified, and how do we start doing classified past papers from day 1. You're going to be practicing from the first day you are in my course, and how to practice past papers, and watch my videos on the website. Guys, I only expect you to do your very, very best. Okay, my standards are really, really high, so please take advantage of every single resource I have for you on the website and in this course. Do your best, and best wishes.